Imagine you are a struggling author and you are friends with a very successful one. She lands a Netflix deal and you decide to meet up for drinks. After you are totally drunk, you decide to go back to your friend's apartment and eat something, maybe drink more. While eating, suddenly your friend starts choking on her food. You try to help her out but are unsuccessful. You call 911 and as you wait for the emergency services to arrive, you steal the manuscript for her next novel while you watch her die. So that is chapter 1 of Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang. This book was published in 2023 and it's a satire on racial diversity in the publication industry. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this book and there's a lot of debate and discourse on it online. I'm not going to go into detail on it because my knowledge about the publication industry is quite limited. But if you are interested, there's a very nice detailed analysis on the book with Cindy. I can link it in the description. I'm going to talk about how I felt about the book and what I think are the positives and negatives of the book. So I'm going to start with the positives first. The first thing is that it's a fast-paced book. You're going to read it in a day or two. I read it in a day and a half. It's also very entertaining. The second positive is that you learn a few things about the publication industry. So for example, I didn't know that there was something called a sensitivity reader. Now for example, there's an author and they write about a book, write about a topic that is not from their own community. So the publishing company will usually employ someone that is from that said community to proofread the story and to see if there's something offensive or if there's something inaccurate. So you learn a few things. And the third thing is I learned a lot of new words that I've never read before. So that was a positive. Now coming to the negatives. The first negative is the main character. The main character, June Hayward or Juniper Song, is probably one of the most annoying main characters you're going to come across. You know, you meet some people that after meeting you feel like you want to take a nap because they've drained you of all the energy you have. The main character is one of those people. The second thing is that the book felt more like a social network drama. So there's a lot about the toxic environment that is present in social network nowadays, and I think this was a complaint that a lot of readers had, that the author could have gone into detail about racial discrimination in the publication industry. Instead she chose to write about the toxicity that is present in social network. The third negative thing about the book is that you're going to be exhausted. You're going to read the book in a day, but you're going to be exhausted after reading the book. But I still feel, regardless, that it's a book that is worth reading. So it's not like a waste of your time. It is quite an enjoyable, entertaining book. Yeah, so Yellowface by Rebecca F. In the last 2 years, I've been reading a lot of Indian authors, and I recently realized that I haven't read a lot of Indian classics. I wasn't even aware of some of the authors. So I decided that as part of my reading goals this year, I would pick up some Indian classics. The first on my list is Untouchable by Mulk Raj Anand. Mulk Raj Anand is one of the most famous writers in India during the pre-independence era. He's also considered one of the pioneers of Indian English literature. He used to mainly write about social discrimination in the traditional Indian society and also about the poorer sections of the traditional Indian society. And one of his most famous works is Untouchable. This book was published in 1935 And the story is about a young man called Baka who's considered untouchable because he and his family clean toilets and the streets of the place that they live in. Now, the entire book is one day in his life, and we get to see his wants and his aspirations and his desires in life, and also we get to experience the atrocities that he deals with on a daily basis. It's a heartbreaking story because his desires and wants in life are things that we often take for granted, like the opportunity to study, the desire to be treated like a human being, the ability to live freely without having to face ridicule on a daily basis. It's also quite depressing because when you reach the end of the book, even though the book ends on a positive note, you realize that not much is likely to change in Baka's life. Despite it being a sad and heartbreaking novel, it's a book that I feel should be read.
It's fair enough, you wanna cock it, hoping I'll forget following the night. You made a joke about the half.
Another book I read recently was Pune Company by Farooq Dondi. I don't have a physical copy of the book because I borrowed it from the library. The author Farooq Dondi was born in India, in Pune, and he spent his early life in the city, and he moved to Britain in his early 20s. So the book Pune Company was published in 1980, and it's an autobiographical book about the author's experiences in the city. The book has 9 chapters, and each chapter is dedicated to a person who had an impact in the author's life. The stories are sometimes funny, sometimes they are tragic, sometimes thought-provoking, but all in all, it's a highly entertaining, fast-paced book. And that's why I feel it's the perfect book for when you're traveling, because you don't want to read something that's too intense, but at the same time you want to be entertained. So yeah, Pune Company by Farooq Dondi.
Back of the fourth wall breaking down upon my feet. The offering is never really come.
I read 2 more books this year so far. Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar and David Diop's At Night All Blood is Black. But I've done detailed videos on it, like a journal spread on it. So if you're interested, maybe you could check it out. And that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.
Following the night, you made a joke about the house.